Good evening. You have reached the Callantyr internal decision meeting for the March internal letter of intent. I am Dorcas. I am Saker, that is Internal Submissions Herald. And let's introduce ourselves. I'll just point. Colleen, would you introduce yourself?
Yes, I am Colleen. I am the baby herald for the Canton of Axtroot.
Brigitte, you're next.
Hi, I'm Brigitte von München. I'm currently Purple Falcon, which is the emergency deputy for Gold Falcon, and I step up as Gold Falcon next month at Coronation. I'm also 47 files away from completing the 12th and final box.
Oh my
goodness! Yay!
Yay! Yay! The archivist succeeds. Giovanni, you're next.
I am Giovanni Loredan. I am Kite Regional Deputy Herald for the Northeast, basically Iowa. And yeah. That's the only title in the heraldry system I have.
Gottfried?
Good evening. I am Gottfried von Schwaben. I am currently the Saker External Herald for the Kingdom of Callantyr in the submission process.
Herveus.
I'm Herveus Dormond, Morceless Herald. I'm not from Callantyr. I maintain the Ordinary and Armorial database.
And Bronwyn?
I am Bronwyn Ogedwelly. I'm White Antelope Herald, which is a title, not an office. I am from the Kingdom of Meridier, so yes, I'm not from Callantyr either. I'm just a commenter.
And Gawain, so happy to have you join us. Introduce yourself, please.
I'm Gawain of Miskbridge. I'm currently Green Anchor Herald Extraordinary, which means I don't have a job. I just kind of hang out.
Well, all right then. And Giovanni, you say you are watching YouTube. So for those who are watching, if you have a question, post your question in the comments section, I guess, and Giovanni will relay that to us. So without further ado, let us turn our attention to the Callantyr internal letter of intent dated February 25th. I would like to remind people, there we go, where's my notes? There we go. I'd like to remind people that we have 29 decisions to be made tonight. So we have a good time doing this, but let's kind of limit any extraneous silliness just because, you know, we got 29 decisions.
Even this close to April Fool's Day.
Even this close to April Fool's Day. All right, then. Item number 1, it is a resub name for Anya Inyan McCon. She had submitted Victoria of Standing Stones and she withdrew it. So I'm not sure what they're going to do with the device that she submitted under Victoria of Standing Stones.
It's going to have to go through as is. Yeah. Because had they...
If the name's returned because it's withdrawn the device, they don't make a holding name. The device goes back with it.
Right.
No, not if she didn't. If she withdrew the name and didn't leave it in to have a holding name.
Well, the name's registerable as it stands.
Right.
I believe she, having been given the information about the device and holding name, she is saying go ahead and let it go through and be registered. Has withdrawn the withdrawal.
Oh,
if I recall correctly.
Right.
Sure. All right. So
this may be a name change
for her. Oh, I see.
Change from a whole
all right.
Yeah.
We'll jump off that bridge when we get to it.
Yep.
The name she wants is Anya Inyan McCon. Does anybody have anything to say about it?
Well, the docs that she gave looked like they were all right.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's. Yeah, looks good.
Yeah.
Anybody? All right.
I saw no problem with it, and I didn't find any conflicts either.
All right, so I'm inclined to forward this to Laurel. So, all right. Item number 2, a new device, which is actually a resub device for Alan Burleson, Azure Chasse Ployee Erminois, a hanging balanced oar. Unfortunately, we found conflicts.
Yes.
Yes.
And as long as Chasse is a field division, then the only actual charge is the hanging balance, which is a conflict.
Right. Now the fix that we suggested reference, instead of having it the field being chasse, if you put it on a pile ployer, actually comes up clear from what I'm seeing. And unless I'm mistaken, I'm tracking that the submitter has approved this change. Is that correct?
Yes, he is cool with that. And in fact, his resub of a resub is on the proto ILOI, which will be published here in the next day or two.
Well,
Okay.
the redraw would have to be used in that case to make it a pile.
It's
So-
all ready to go. It's all
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So in other words,
we're we're pending this one for the next internal to make sure that there's no conflicts, and
we're
then it's going out the
returning
door.
this one, and we're submitting the redraw
Got
because
it.
it's kind of a redesign.
Okay.
It's going on the next internal letter. It will not go directly to the external.
Check.
that
Okay.
works.
Okay.
Moving along to item number 3, a new device for Eleonora Jeanette des Amandiers, Azure Semi-Deli, an owl displayed maintaining in its talons a spoon, bestwise argent. It is a step from period practice for having the owl displayed.
I didn't see any conflicts.
No, the closest one I found was the one that I listed below, Azure and owl displayed maintaining an arrow bestwise between 3 lilies argent. And fleur-de-lis are stylized lilies, but the number is different. And then we have to decide whether or not the spoon and the arrow are sufficiently different, I guess.
Oh, they are.
I would say so.
And
Yeah.
I don't think I think you get a DC between, at least between fleurs de lis and lilies, even though one's,
If that's the case, then we should be cool.
But we would have a significant change between because we're dropping the secondary charge group of the 3 lilies for a field semi.
well, that's changing one secondary charge group into another.
Mm-hmm.
Different number, maybe type, and type of maintain. So there's 2 easy and probably a third. So it's clear.
For number, yeah. Okay, but that was the closest I found.
Excuse me.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and forward this one to Laurel. All right. Item number 4, we have a name and device for Anna Beckett, beginning with the name. Does anybody have anything to say about her name?
Nope, that's
Good, and I didn't find any conflicts.
Probably even nice,
Yeah.
in the sense of
Nice name.
nice name.
Mhm.
The documentation is just fine. Odds are somebody might be able to
They're within
find
50
citations
years.
that are really close in time and space.
Okay. All right, so we'll just send that one up. Now, the device. Per
Yes.
pale, vert and azure, a pale wavy between infest a bee and a tree argent.
Does the fast wavy have too many wavy traits?
No,
Okay.
it's unmistakably wavy. I would, if it's probably towards the upper limit in my opinion, but there's nothing to fuss about there.
Yeah, the amplitude is a bit much on the waves, but not horrible.
Yeah.
Uh,
Okay. And
there's nothing to say about it.
Right.
And the
Wavy
fast,
line. I think a wavy line should be alternating semicircles like this one.
The wavy fest removes the appearance of marshalling.
It sure does.
Because we have a propel field division.
With different charges.
But that would take care of any marshalling issues.
Yep.
Now I've got a potential conflict here. And that is per pale verdant azure, a pale wavy between two hairs combatant argent. There's one for changes in secondaries. Is there another one somewhere that I'm missing?
I don't know. I missed the rest of your blazing. You cut out.
There's nothing comparable about the postures, so it's kind of hard to get a second DC out of anything else. You have a pale between two white things, and you have a pale between two completely different white things, and there's no other distinguishing. There's no other comparable things to get that second DC.
Yeah, you've got the same field, you've got the same pale, you've got the same color on your secondaries.
To be safe,
you've got is type.
What about the argument that Modar brings up, reference Senna A5G7 with half the charge group? I mean, is that a valid argument?
Let me look. Let's see what you said. Position orientation within the charge group, because half the charge group can be compared to the combatant. Where covers that hairs, and if there's a different position. I'm not even going to try to comment on that one. I'm totally not an expert on the whole postures.
I am inclined to say this is above our pay grade and send it up to
Would it be worth looking into a letter of permission, since the possibly conflicting armory was only registered in October?
Yeah.
That might be prudent.
Yeah.
Oh.
Via the outlands?
I see that.
If it was recent, then the chances are good you'd be able to would be able to reach the
So I'm kind of a mind to put it forward, and as you say, Dorcas, it's above our pay grade. Let that decision happen, going, hey, this is what we believe. But at the same time, behind the scenes, go for the letter of permission, grab a letter of permission, and if it comes in and we need it, cool. If it comes in and we don't need it, even better.
Yeah, that's awesome. I completely missed how recent that conflicting armory possible conflict was registered. So, Gottfried, do you want to take it, or shall I?
Yeah. No, I'll reach out for it.
Okay, I'm going to put your name on my notes. Okay.
Apparently, I will send something to you, Gottfried, about the Gentle's possible location, if that helps.
No, perfect.
Yeah, because we're just talking about 5 months ago. Yeah.
Right, and it says Outlands. So, all right. I also, I do have, Modar did provide a redesign, and I have been in contact with the submitter, and she likes this design, and she wants to give it a try. So, but she has approved the second design. If this one is returned, if we can't get, if we can't get a letter of permission or whatever, so we've got our backup plan ready to rock.
Excellent.
Okay, let us move along. Item number 5. It is a badge for Cuthbert Longshanks, or on a mountain azure winged argent, a Furrison Erminois.
Yeah.
Yep.
We've got a couple of problems with this. One is the naturalistic depiction of the mountain, and the other is the mountain charged with a tertiary.
Right.
Because, I mean, technically you can put wings on just about anything.
Yeah.
Wings on a mountain is stretching it a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, last time I said you can put wings on anything, somebody said a winged vol.
Yeah, well.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. So I think that Cuthbert is a herald, and I do believe he is aware that there's a conflict. Now, when was the conflict registered, and is there any chance of a letter of permission to conflict?
It wasn't a conflict.
No.
This was a style issue.
Oh, darn it. Oh, I see.
It's
Charge
a precedence. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
all
the
right.
problem is that there's a precedence against charging mountains with tertiaries, and there's a precedent against naturalistic mountains. They're supposed to be stylized.
Right. Okay. Well, then, this is a return, pure and simple, and we will talk to Cuthbert about it. Okay. Let us move right along. Item number 6, a name and device for Duncan the Erdstappe. First, his name, and these are resub on both of these.
Okay. Isn't the article the problem on this one?
Well, that's not the problem. The problem is Erdstappe, when he first submitted it, Erdstappe is a kind of a poetic term for wanderer. And the submission, the documentation that he provided the first time around, which was like maybe 10 years ago or something crazy like that.
Oh my God, one of those.
Yeah, March of 2011. The documentation that he provided only pointed to an Anglo-Saxon poem that an Erdstappe, the person was referred to as the Erdstappe, meaning the wanderer.
So now he's got it from an Anglo-Saxon dictionary.
Yeah, now
is that any more helpful than the poem?
Still going to complain that the Anglo-Saxon dictionary probably got it from the exact same poem that he got it from originally.
And just because the word toaster is in an English dictionary doesn't make it a name.
Well, it's a descriptive, and we have recently talked about wanderer and how, yes, we are more likely to register names by names that mean wanderer. So that is what I'm hoping for this time around.
Is he going to have to drop the article?
He'd be happy to drop the article.
He'd prefer to have it without the article.
Right. There was a note about, I believe it was on the cover letter of the most recent, about Lingua Societas,
yeah,
or something like that. Could that help us?
No, because this Anglo Societas refers to saying in English or whatever a term, and this Erdstappe is clearly an Anglo-Saxon word. So no, that won't help. As far as losing the article, I tell you what, I'm the one who put that in there because I cannot remember where I found some discussion in an LOAR or a cover letter talking about, well, I think it was related to Eowith's submission, Eowith's registration as the Scythian or the Scythian.
Well, if he's willing to drop it out, it could be sent in with the article in there in case it's needed, with the statement that the submitter would be willing to drop it if it's not appropriate, and that would cover that.
Or would even prefer to not have it.
Yeah.
Would give license to fix that.
Prefer not to have the article if he doesn't have to. And that would cover that part of it.
Yeah, but I would love that. I don't happen to think that the is the deal breaker.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
No, it's probably Eric stuff.
In the documentation that they provided, I didn't see any examples of using an article with this kind of a surname.
That's what I was thinking, but
Right, and as I said,
Dorcas found one.
I saw somewhere that the SCA heralds were gonna require it, and I could be hallucinating, and I'm happy to think I am happy to think that can go.
Yeah, let's just leave it in there and say you'd
No.
rather not have it.
But the problem still is Erdstapa.
Yes.
And
Well, they're right that we have registered several different versions of Wanderer, or terms that essentially mean the same thing.
Yeah, I've always wondered how many of these people want to mean pilgrim and how many of them they want to mean bum.
Right.
I think the other one is how many of them new people can't think of a surname, so they use something that means wanderer. I know of at least a couple that did that.
Well, some of them want to be gypsies too.
So if he would prefer to not have which we locals know he would prefer not to have the article, do we send it up without the article?
I think we send it with the article, but the note saying specifically he would prefer it without, and we allow them that latitude to be able to pull it if it's superfluous.
Well, this whole Erdstapa thing may have to just be a test case.
Right, I'm willing to go for that.
Yeah.
So, okay, so my notes say we're going to send it up. We're going to point out that he'd rather not have the article and just hope for the best.
yeah.
Yep.
The question is does the citation from the dictionary establish any bona fides as an actual descriptive by name as opposed to simply a word?
Right, and that's my definition of hope for the best.
Right. So,
Right.
yep.
I don't think we can make a judgment on that, really.
Right, above our pay grade.
Yeah.
And maybe somebody will find something supportive.
All right, so possibly equally problematic is his device,
Yes.
which is also a resub. Per chevron inverted azure and argent, a drinking horn fesswise argent, and 2 Danish axes endorsed sable.
They're not actually endorsed.
They're in pile
Yeah.
because they would by default be palewise. Then they'd be endorsed.
Okay.
So we need an extra word we need the extra phrase
Endorsed in pile.
endorsed in pile or in pile endorsed. I'm not sure which reads better, but you
There's
need all 3 words.
Another case where if you move the partition line up a bit or made it a more acute angle, you could have the axes and the powder horn more nearly the same size. But that's
Well, they're obviously co-primaries in this arrangement, but
Yeah.
which runs us into that whole orientation.
Yeah, there's a potential
Unity of-
unity of posture, orientation, one of those unity of mumble issues, because we have to say the axes are in pile.
That almost nobody understands.
It's a steaming pile, but it is what trying to make, there's people trying to make the best.
Is that a heraldic pile or some other sort of pile?
It's almost a tri-mount, if you will.
Yes.
A steaming private that works.
Okay.
Oh dear.
Meanwhile, I'm
Ideas are coming to me, and I'm not going to articulate them in this particular venue. But,
No.
all right. Yes. If we can move along. I am happy to reblazon to change the axes to endorsed in pile. and forward it and just say it's above our pay grade. And hope that sanity is returning to the college as regards unity of posture.
It may or may, and Dwayne described a set of things which would perhaps, if the line of vision were a little sharper, there'd be a little more room to get the axes vertical instead of slanted.
But he doesn't want them vertical.
Oh.
And it wouldn't fit as well, even then.
Space.
Yeah.
They fit perfectly the way they are.
I have a feeling he prefers them to be in chevron inverted.
Well,
yes.
Yeah, but we use, I think the more typical term of art is in pile.
All right, I'm ready to stop talking about this one because we are not even halfway through the letter and it's already 7:30. All right. Item number 7, Edward Logan de Munro, a resub of his device, blazoned as Per Bend Sinister, Azure and Sable, in pale, a jester's cap conjoined with a mask of comedy within a Borgia argent. I'll fix the typo.
It almost makes more sense for Logan.
It could also be a mask of comedy vested of a jester's cap or something too, but I don't think it really makes a difference. They're equal size.
Right, and we'll let Wreath blazon it how he will.
Right.
Yep.
All right, so I'm going to fix the typo in the blazon and forward it to Laurel. Item number 8, Evelyn O'Byrne, a new alternate name, and she wants Irsa Kettlinger.
Good.
The docs checked out, and I didn't find any conflicts. I found Irsa Kettle's daughter, but that's not a conflict.
Nope.
All right, then.
There might be some grammar foo involving gender stuff, but I don't know enough to say anything specific, and there are people who know what they're talking about who can fix that.
They will, yeah.
Grammar is above our pay grade.
Okay, does she allow changes? I'm not.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. All right, so we'll forward that. Item number 9, resub the device for Franco Suarez. Argent on a pile azure, a winged sword inverted, pummeled of a pomegranate ore.
I didn't even notice the pomegranate until I saw the blazon.
Thank goodness we don't need that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have no problem putting it in, but
Yeah.
I would leave it out. And the reason is that winged sword's a tertiary charge, and if pummeled of a pomegranate means it counts for something, then we have charge groups on the tertiary, and that's an instant blank.
Yeah, if they decide it's a maintained charge or something like that, we got a problem.
So that might just be best as a artistic detail left to the submitter, is what I'm hearing.
Right.
Yes.
Because the wings are not like treated as maintained charges or anything like that.
No, the wings are co-equal with the sword in terms of charge theory.
Okay, so would it be then Argent on a pile azure, a winged sword inverted, or a sword inverted winged? Because the sword is inverted, the wings are not inverted.
Correct.
Exactly.
Right.
I think Conrad.
I think you have to put a sword inverted winged.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good point.
But
And
the wings are argent, not.
Oh yeah, a sword inverted or winged argent.
Argent.
Oh, good grief! I didn't.
Oh,
good
yes,
nice,
yes.
Nice
On the pile
catch,
edge,
nice
yes.
catch.
And I believe the hilt is also argent. Is that a blazonable difference?
Hilted and winged Argent.
I don't
Can you
know.
pull
I'm
up
just
the
looking at
picture?
the
Yeah, it's
color
not. It's just
emblazoned, and
really light ore.
Yeah.
the wings colored yellow too, just not as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you may be right. The whole thing may be, or it's just a paler color of ore on the enlargement.
Yeah.
But I mean, the color corrected version picked up the ore on the wings.
Yes.
All right, let's see. Let me look very closely. Yes, no, it is all ore. The wings are supposed to be ore.
Good.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, good. That simplifies things.
Yes.
But I'd leave the pomegranate out.
You may want to make a note for the ELY that the drawing does have the full coloring.
Yeah, it's a scanning artifact.
Understood, but
no. I mean, I have to put in the note that it'll be a scanning artifact.
Yes.
Yes.
No, we promise. It's all ore.
Yeah.
Really? Trust us, we're heralds.
So, Argent on a pile azure, a sword inverted or winged?
Or a sword
inverted winged
ore.
Winged ore, yes.
There we go. I was going to say,
yes.
How did that color, how did that tincture end up in there?
Because I thought it was white.
Yeah.
All right. Sword inverted winged ore.
Correct.
Yes.
And can someone spell check me? Because everything I tried with the double L on pommel came up with the scraggly red line of misspelled. Is it one or two L's?
Aren't we dropping the pummeled part because of the?
Oh shit!
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Never mind.
That's the easy way.
Easy fix.
Forget spelling it. Just lose it.
No kidding.
Okay. Item number 10.
Wait.
Oh, you're not done. Okay.
Bronwyn cited a potential conflict.
Crap.
Oh, that's right.
Versus Richard Fitzgilbert. Argent on a pile throughout, azure, a sun ore. Nothing for throughout. The question is,
it's just a change of type of tertiary.
Yeah, because a winged sword is one thing. It's not two things.
Right. But Modar had come back and said that he considered that it was not. But I think he was looking into the pommel of a pomegranate or something.
No, he just said he said type of tertiary, and then we add the wings. And no, the wings are part of the single charge on single tertiary charge.
I suppose that the fact that this is much nicer looking than one with a sun doesn't cut any ice.
Nice try, but hey.
Yeah.
But I think the only difference is the change of type of tertiary, which was what I suggested.
Yep.
Some people just disagreed with me.
I would recommend just going ahead and sending it up and note the possible conflict, saying we weren't sure if it was actually a change in tertiary or not.
Well,
it's definitely a change of tertiary.
Well, I know, but if that gives a DC or not.
There's only one DC for type. It's a solid conflict call.
So when was Richard's device registered?
81.
He is still active.
Well, I mean, there's a chance that you may be able to get a permission to conflict.
He is reachable, so the possibility of asking for permission to conflict exists.
Okay.
I mean,
so that would be the way I would probably go with this.
I think you're probably the best angle would be to go through Triton.
Right.
Are we certain there's not a difference between for DC or a difference between throughout and non?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we're sure about
Oh,
that.
absolutely.
Okay.
That's easy. Sorry.
So the only difference is the tertiary, and we can get it's 1 DC. So if we can get Richard's permission to conflict, we're cool with it.
Yeah.
All right, so that is what I've put in my notes. We have to return it for conflict, but we're going to attempt to get a letter of permission to conflict. And when we do send it up, The reblazoned will be argent on a pile, azure, a sword, inverted, winged, or.
Check.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, Gottfried, are you gonna try
Yes.
and? Okay.
Yeah, I'll reach out to Triton.
All right.
Okay, works.
And no, he hasn't done a blanket letter of permission to conflict. No surprise, but I checked.
Thank you. Well then, okay, that is not what I thought was going to happen to this one. Okay.
Yeah.
Alrighty then. Are we ready to move on to number 10?
I think so.
Yes.
All right, we have name change and device change. Therefore, she's entered as Jane Fox of Foxhall. Her old item, Constance Wilkick, she wants to retain it as an alternate name, and her old device she wants to retain as a badge. First, let's talk about the name, please.
Looks good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't see any problems at all with that.
Nicer than the old one.
Yes.
Okay. Then, all right, her new device will
There's no comments on her device at all, are there?
All except for a series of no conflicts.
No conflicts.
her bend sinister purpurin sable,
Yeah.
Fox Sagent Contourne, and a fleur-de-lis argent. And her old item per pale ghouls and sable on a bend argent 3 footprints palewise sable to be retained as a badge.
Okay.
Send it up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, looks good.
Looks good. Next.
Next.
Very nice.
We are just tearing through these things.
I hope so. All right. Item 11, a new name for Jotun Kato.
Sweet.
Everything's documented from Gearbasi.
Yep.
Yep.
Send it up.
Sweet.
We're good.
That one's
All
good.
right. Item number 12, a name and device for Nemesis Ericina. First her
Okay.
name.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nemesis is a real name. I didn't know that.
Interesting.
It is a real name of a mortal.
There are 10 instances cited in LGPN, so I believe so.
Yeah, because LGPN only uses names that are documented for people, as far as I know.
Okay.
Lexicon of Greek personal names. Yeah, there's a
Right.
nice implication there that's a people name.
Mhm.
Stupid question time. I haven't checked. LGPN, is that one of the recognized
Doesn't matter. She included
Let's
paper
get
copy.
personal names.
no, I
We use
understand.
it a
No.
lot.
Not for acronyms. For acronyms, whenever I'm putting this up, will
Let me
sufficient
look.
people understand what LGPN is? Because I had no clue as to what
Yeah,
it
let
is.
me.
We
Think
might add
probably-
this lexicon of Greek personal names.
Yeah, you could spell it out. It wouldn't hurt.
Okay.
Yeah, if you give the acronym and the full form, just so nobody's confused,
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So
and we assume that Ericina is okay. Ericina is okay.
I ran into something about Ericina that may be a hitch with dates. I looked up some information about the place, and the modern name of the place is Erice. Okay. Back in the day, it was spelled Eryx, as is mentioned in the documentation.
Right.
It was conquered by the Aghlabids, which is a Muslim group, in 831 and was renamed as Sebel Hamid. It was ruled by Arabs until the Norman conquest. In 1167, the Normans renamed it as Monte San Giuliano, and it was known under that name until 1934.
Oh my God.
So,
Okay.
my question is, can we get Ericina with a date to go with Nemesis?
Let's see. What dates do we have for Nemesis?
I don't know.
Yeah.
FYI, Gottfried, the LGPN is a recognized acronym according to the handbook.
Yes.
Okay,
Admin
so that
handbook.
acronym is there, and I don't
What
have
is-
to
what is
spell it
the-
out.
What is
Correct.
the date that it gives? Because the letter does not say.
All right, which of us is clicking on the link?
The link takes you just to the search bar, not the actual name.
The link in Oscar doesn't
Got it.
include the Nemesis part.
Yep, it got truncated.
It got
You know,
truncated.
it stopped after the equal sign. So if you carefully copy and paste
Okay, I'm going for it.
the whole thing, which I just did.
Yes. Well, that didn't
Okay.
help.
Okay. So Nemesis. We got places. It's a feminine name.
If I'm reading this correctly, I'm seeing the first record anywhere estimated between the 1st century BC and the 1st century AD.
I have no idea how to.
I think
Let's see,
fluorite
Nemesis.
is.
Well,
is-
then
Oh, yeah, the first
Okay.
link
Okay. Yeah.
does
All right.
have
Yeah.
it.
All right.
okay,
guess
so
it was
Ericina
Imperial-
should be okay.
Never
Yeah.
mind.
It appears to be a name that was used over a long span of time. So
Because
Well-
yeah,
Pre 831, which works with the name, with our given name.
well, I don't
Yeah.
know. One
Okay.
BC to 1 AD is only what, 2 years?
No, well, that's
No.
probably first
I'm-
century.
yeah, because I'm seeing
So I
one BC all the way down to 3 AD. So,
So,
and I'm assuming they're
The
talking about
200s.
centuries
ooh,
because they're using I, not one.
Well, we're also seeing some dates over to the right under the references to 1846,
I don't
1547,
know what-
1330.
I'm not sure those are dates.
Those might be dates on documents. The
Possibly,
actual
yeah.
document it was found in.
Very
I'm guessing.
possibly.
Um,
Okay, well, we know that the name existed, but
Okay. bringing
bringing it anywhere close to the usage of the place name is interesting.
you know, if
Well, it says that the town was originally had a temple of Venus, Venus Ericina. So that implies that name goes way back, and that
Then we should
I
be
would give it the
okay.
benefit of the doubt that it goes back to first century.
okay.
well-
Maradona noted in her commentary. Maradona notes that at least it spans in the imperial period from 31 BC to 310 AD for the town for the
Okay,
locative.
so it overlaps.
Using
So which-
using
which-
the ERYX spelling.
Yeah.
Yes. So that perfectly lines up with Nemesis's time frame.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
And all we have is the grammar foo of turning it to Ericina.
Mhm.
Didn't we get that somewhere in some of this documentation?
Maybe.
I was thinking.
What did Maradona say about it? Let's see.
Let's
She's
see.
got the recording of the famous
Okay.
Venus of Ericina source
Corpus Inscriptum Latin.
at the Temple of Edrisi.
It's
Only so there's a lot of different
Yeah.
things in
you're
Italian.
gonna want to mind Maradona's comments for for stuff there.
Oh, well, she's got it translated right below it anyway.
So yeah, she
All right, so in my notes, I will say that we ought to summarize Maradona's additional documentation
Yes.
and send this up.
and yeah,
Okay.
and there are people who can fix the grammar if it needs grammar fixing.
Right.
Yes.
You know, Metra and Ariston could probably do it in their sleep.
Yes, probably
Mhm.
so.
But
Okay, so are we done talking about the name and we can talk about the device?
Yep.
I think
All
probably
right.
so.
Argent on a pale purpure, a key, wards to base, argent.
I was kind of surprised that I didn't find a conflict on that one, but a single charge on a pail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do we need to specify pale wise? Oh yes, we do. Fess wise is default.
well, if
Not on a pail.
If it's on a pail, it would follow the
Oh,
line
right.
of the tail. So I think it would be that's probably pail wise by default. But it depends on whether it's inverted or upright, and so the blazon does
The
say wards to
specification
base.
is in wards to base. Yep.
Uh-huh.
I forgot about the pail.
All right, well, I think there's really, I'll just send that up.
Yeah.
yeah,
Looks good.
All right, item 13, a badge for her. Fieldless, a skull sable, maintaining in its jaw a key argent.
Didn't find any conflicts with that either.
I wasn't surprised not to find any.
Well, that one didn't surprise me.
All
One
right,
thing, it's fieldless, and you just don't see many skulls holding keys in their jaws, especially sable skulls.
all right, so I'll just say we're sending that one up.
yeah.
Yep.
Item number 14, a new name for Nomi del Sea. She prefers the spelling S-E-A, and Rainey and Wilson has Bertram del Sea, S-E-E, but the subnomine is S-E-A. So she really prefers to be Del S-E-A.
Well, if they can give it to her, they will at Laurel.
I spent a lot of time with the OED, and I did find the SEA spelling dated from 1555.
The Delcy.
Just the SEA spelling for C.
Okay, well, we could add that in there for sure.
And you got
Middle English has an S-E-A spelling.
Mm-hmm.
So S-E-A is a period spelling.
okay.
Yes.
Problem is with the del, is that going to throw anything off? If we're translating over to middle or
Well, we can
old
say-
for that matter.
Yeah, we
The
could,
Rainey and Wilson citation in the submission has Del with the earlier spelling of C, so I think it's going to be all right.
I think you've got a good story. Go for
Okay.
it.
All right, then.
as long as the SEA spelling is documented to the same time period, it should be interchangeable.
All right, so
Yep.
my notes, I've got to include the citation of SEA from the Middle English Dictionary because I had a link to it, and send it up. If they want hard copy photocopies of the OED, because I don't have an OED, but I think let's just send it up with the Middle English Dictionary citation and hope for the best.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Yep.
All right. So that's what I've got. Item number 15, a name for nutmeg thorn. We have
Okay.
documented nut and meg and thorn.
Mm-hmm.
Can't say I'm thrilled with that.
Yeah, but you know her. She's been nutmeg her whole life.
Yes, she has.
Yep.
And double given names are allowable in English.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, so I'm going to just send that up. All right. Item number 16, administrative. Oh, excuse me. The new blanket permission to conflict Has anybody looked at the docs? See if I missed anything when I created it.
As an aside, the OED is on the no photocopy list.
Cool.
It's in Appendix H. You can cite the OED without providing copies.
Hooray!
The OED and the MED.
All right.
Good.
Excellent.
All right.
All right. So this blanket permission to conflict.
Looks fine.
All right.
Yeah.
Send it up.
And it says not identical, so it doesn't even need a DC.
All right. Okay, so item number 17, a new name and a new device for Sechin Tatar. First, her name. The Mongolian
folklore character.
No photocopy. It's all right there.
Go for it.
All right.
Mongolian names by
It's
article.
Mongolian.
All right then. Her device. Her bend argent and ghouls, a lotus flower ghouls, and a natural tiger rampant argent marked sable, and on a chief sable 2 human eyes argent irised sable.
Now, isn't it a step from period practice to use a natural tiger?
I think you're right.
I would
Yes.
guess so.
All right.
And you might want to say lotus flower in profile.
Yes, definitely.
I'm not sure.
Because the lotus flower is also shown from above. So this one would need to be specified as in profile.
All right. I'm reblazing as.
There's not a default on the lotus flower, is there?
I'm not sure.
1 second, I have that open.
Now look at Mist Tome, which is where I got mine.
No default. According to the according to the glossary.
Okay.
There is no default.
So lotus flower in profile.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Are there any restrictions on using human eyes at all? Is it
No problem.
okay? Cool.
This should be fine.
All right.
It's kind of creepy, but that's a different problem.
Okay.
Okay.
Here's looking at you, kid.
Yeah.
All right. Well then, the next, I guess we're ready to go on to the next item. A new name for Skinnahrefna. Both elements documented from Gearbox.
Yeah, that's another one of those prepended by names. So it looks good.
Setting it up.
All right.
I commented that, Gearbassi doesn't make any reference to whether the skin is masculine or feminine or anything like that. So I don't know if there's a gender issue or not, but they can definitely correct that if they need to.
Okay. The next item, name and device for Thorfinn Volterson. The name. Oh, gosh. It said,
fine.
well, it said that he has been using Torvin. And Frida managed to construct documentation for Torvin, I think. But she couldn't do the same thing for Vortison or Volterson or something like that. So I'm in a quandary. Do we just send it up as is because the consulting, I'm trying to think, who's the consulting herald here? Let me check. The consulting herald probably did the best that he or she could do to get as close as possible.
Well, we could request that if anybody has a name closer to Torvin, they please come up with it. But the Frida has a list of Torfin, all of them are Torfin, not Unless there's an F to V shift.
She was documenting that with other shifts below that.
Okay.
Right. So she was constructing Thorvin.
Uh-huh.
Thorvin is a constructed name, but she couldn't do the same thing for Valterson.
But he specified 10th century Norse as an important piece.
Yes, 10th century Norse. If my name must be changed, I care about 10th century Norse.
Okay. Because if he hadn't done that, we might have gotten with other cultures, but
yeah,
might have gotten closer. But
yeah, getting Torvin wanders away from 10th century Norse.
Right.
Yeah.
So can you check with the submitter to see if there's flexibility on that point?
right. Because
He
I
may
mean,
prefer
I've
to
had
have
people
the
come up with
sound.
RPG names that they wanted to be Gaelic, you know. So
Well,
Okay.
if-
The point that I want to make is that he found Thorfinn, which is 10th century Earl of Orkney and 11th century Earl of Orkney. So he found Thorfinn in DMNES. And this is, I think that he is aware that this is as close as he can get. So really my question is, do we offer him, because the closest that Frida could get when she constructed Torvin, which, hooray, that's very impressive.
but it's 15th century.
Right, it's very late, and she couldn't construct anything that looked like Vortison or Vorterson, or she couldn't.
yeah,
So Thorfinn Vorterson might be the closest you can get the surname.
Right, and that's what was submitted here.
What does Garbassi say? They're citing Garbassi, page 16, for
That's the patronymic formation. That's
Yeah.
Right, VOTTR. So you would
So the question is,
you would drop the
how
R.
is
It would
it
become
correctly
VOT. It would be double S instead. The R would go. So the Watterson isn't correct anyway, or probably not.
So it'd be Vatson is what we're looking at.
Watson. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because according to the patronym on page 16 of Garbassi, where it tells you how to do it, given names ending in an R, the R mutates to an S and then add SON.
okay.
Earl of Orkney. We're
He
talking.
No major, but he didn't mark no major minor. So I think respelling the patronymic, that's not a major,
No,
right?
that's a minor. That's a change of one letter.
So I'm inclined to send up Thorfinn Vatson.
Mm-hmm.
Because Thorfinn, wait a minute,
Yeah,
Earl of
That means-
Orkney, Scotland, right?
Yeah.
yeah,
Scott,
Yeah.
are we talking anglicized Scott or does it
Well,
matter?
that's definitely not 10th century Norse.
oh, that's that.
Okay, he did not request authenticity for 10th century Norse. He
Okay.
allowed changes. He said, if my name must be changed.
Mhm.
So
Oh,
he
so-
didn't request authenticity. So we're not talking about authenticity. So
We're
the
talking
fact
about
not 10th century Norse, the fact that it's 10th century, hooray.
Yeah. Well, the only thing that I thought about Watson was that there is some wiggle room in some of the forming of the genitives, and I suppose it's remotely possible that Votarson, like Bjarnarsson, could work, but I don't think so.
Okay.
yeah.
Well-
So if it needs to be changed, 10th century Norse is the guiding principle. Fixing the by name to the correct formation is consistent with that.
Yes,
And
and would be a minor change. It would just
Oh,
be
yeah.
noticeable.
All right. So that's what my notes. We're going to change the patronymic. Say hello, cat. Say goodbye, cat. We're going to change the patronymic to Vatson and send that up. We will. I will drop him a note telling him that we had to make that change.
Just what I'm looking at, and I want to make sure that I'm square on this, is matching up Thorfinn with with Watson or Watson that we are Old English, Welsh, Cornish, Cumbric, etc. mixes with Scandinavian from 550 to 1100. Am I reading this correctly? That we are golden on that?
Yes, it's compatible.
Okay. So I need to put in a Senna comment that they are compatible.
Right.
All right.
What is
All
that,
right.
appendix C or something like
A.
that?
Yeah.
A.
No, Appendix C is the name mixes, the lingual mixes.
Oh,
Or am I? No, you're right. I
that's
am
what I
in C.
thought.
Yes.
I am in C.
All right. Okay, so Gottfried, you're taking your notes. You know what you're going to do. I'm going to send him an email telling that we spelled his name differently, but we're going to send up Thorfinn Watson. All right, now the device. Ghouls, a sea wolf maintaining an axe or between 3 mullets of 8 points argent. I think this is pretty.
I think we're going to have a lot less trouble with it than with the name.
And,
Yes.
and Caitlin noted Blazing Foo because the axes are bendwise sinister.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kathleen mentioned that.
Yep.
Yes.
I didn't see any conflicts.
No.
Hooray!
Good.
Do we need to specify maintaining in one paw?
No.
Okay, just check.
If it's bendwise sinister, it kind of has to go where it is. It's going to be holding it in a paw, and it's going to be that one.
Right.
Otherwise, he's bonking
So I
himself
don't-
in the head with that axe.
Right.
He could be Danish.
All right.
Okay.
Moving
Are we
on.
ready to look at item number 20?
Yeah.
All right. A new name for Ulrich von Baron.
Okay, this one I've been looking all over the place because the problem I have right now is Ulrich Ballo undated, not happy.
And that is
And
why
they
I
cite
noticed
their-
that he's a saint's name.
Yes, but they're saying Saint Ulrich is equal to Saint Ulrich, of course, okay?
Which is, yeah, and that's an Ortsname, a locative.
If it's a saint's name,
It's,
should be okay.
well, what,
If it's documented.
okay, like I say, and the problem that I've got is in the Ballo in the German, it's telling me that is an Ortsname. An Ortsname is a locative. It's a location name of Saint Ulrich, Saint Ulrich, which equals Saint Ulrich. So it's I don't know how I don't know how the college is going to take it.
Doesn't that
So
mean
Ulrich is
they just
specific to
spelled
the
it?
Ost area?
Yeah, doesn't that mean that over here it's spelled Ulrich and over there it's spelled Ulrich? Same guy, same saint, just they spelled his name differently over here.
In Germany and Austria.
Isn't that what they're saying?
I don't have Apollo anymore, but that's what it,
Well, I can pull out my issue of Ballo if you like. It is in English.
Gottfried has it in his hand.
Okay.
Yeah, it's saying it's a place name. One place is Ulrich, in the other place it's the same place, and O umlaut is probably Österreich or Austria.
Right.
The saint's name.
So Ulrich is a place name or a saint's
It's
name?
showing as a place name, a location name, not a person's name per se, which
Well, Saint
begs
Ulrich
the
of
question.
Augsburg was.
Yeah, like I said, it begs the question: if you got a place name named after somebody, where the heck did it come from?
Well, I wonder if if the in Aust means in Austria, because he's depicted on the coats of arms of a suburb of Vienna, so he's probably popular there.
Oh yeah,
in Austria. So he was the, according to the Saint Ulrich I found on Wikipedia, it's of Augsburg.
No,
The Bishop of Augsburg.
Yeah, and I'm even looking here in Brechenmacher, and it's saying it's a patronymic. But here's the kicker: is that I'm looking at. I'm not arguing that Ulrich is not a name. I'm also not arguing that Ulrich won't work.
Okay.
What I'm trying to nail down is the date.
Oh.
But if it's a saint's name, you don't need a date.
Really?
Well, if they were venerated for a long period of time and they were well known.
Well, this version, at least, this Ulrich of Augsburg was born in 893, died in 973, was canonized in 993.
So that predates
that predates, yeah.
Von Behren.
Yeah.
But
Yes, but it's within 500 years.
Yeah.
Correct. But what we're saying is that he existed before the byname did, so there shouldn't be a problem.
It shouldn't be a problem, yeah.
Because he was probably venerated for quite a while.
Giovanni,
Yes.
send me that data or a link for the saint, if you would, please.
Okay, it's coming from Wikipedia, if that's fine with you.
Wikipedia, I can always look in the references in the bottom and go to the original sites.
Right.
Right.
Okay. So,
I will send that over.
And as long as St. Ulrich would have been known in 1267 in Germany.
Exactly.
He's the patron saint of Augsburg.
Yeah.
So.
Right. Then he should
one would think they didn't forget.
I would think so.
One would think bad things would happen to those who forgot.
Uh-huh.
all right. So I am ready to just make a note to send this up. Gottfried, you're probably going to add some extra documentation in there, but we're gonna send it up. We're gonna forward this to Laurel.
Okay.
Okay. Item number 21. Resub the device for Vale Robertson. Per pale argent and gules, 2 pallets argent, and a chief sable. It was a previous kingdom return. He added the chief sable to clear conflict.
I didn't see any other conflicts.
Nor did I.
All right, we're gonna.
It's an elegant fix.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's very pretty. Okay, item 21, a 20, wait a minute, oh, my numbering, my notes, there we go, all right, there we go. Item 22, was that an
Yeah.
All right.
Was that conflict checked against Field of Chief Sable? Because that sure looks like per pale argent and paley gules and argent.
Well, if it was paley, we'd have an uneven number of.
Not necessarily.
There is that difference, but it's not a conflict. It's not a conflict saving difference. It has to be checked for both.
Okay.
Now, I will say that Gawain, Bronwyn, and Modar all conflict checked it.
Right, but I didn't check it versus a field, just a plain field with a chief sable.
Hey, Gawain, are you back? What do you think, Gawain?
I am not in a position right now to conflict check it.
But you did conflict check it.
That way, but I didn't see any problem. I was looking mainly at a per pale argent and gules field. So I did not check it that way.
Okay, let's see what I could find.
Order of the Knights Templar, argent to chief sable.
Whoa.
That would only give us changing half the field, wouldn't it?
Okay, you get a DC for the field. That's easy. But Elizabeth of Hadley Hall, lozenge or invert, a chief sable.
Lozenge 4.
All right, so I am perhaps a little confused about when something is field primary, armory, which the conflict checking is slightly different. Now, it does have a peripheral charge. It's got that chief.
You're right.
Does it still qualify as field primary, even though it's got that chief?
If it doesn't have a primary charge, I believe it does. But in this case, the pallets over on the right, they don't count. I don't know that they count as primaries, do they?
Well, they can, and they certainly were conflict checked as if they did.
And if they are the primary charge, then we have a primary charge, and it wouldn't.
Those pallets would be the primary charge.
Yeah.
Yes.
Darn it.
But if it has the appearance of pale argent and pale eagles and argent,
then you're talking
then
about having to check
part of the field. All right.
Tricky.
We could also just send it up.
That's what I was going to say. I would say that's above the pay grade kind of question.
Mm-hmm.
How does Reith want to call it?
Okay, wait. I'm looking at Senna. Standards for difference through single substantial change of field for field primary armory. That is armory with no primary field charge group, including armory with peripheral ordinaries. Aha.
Okay.
So two independent changes.
Okay,
so a divided, adding a divided field gets you clear. Changing the. All right. So let me go back.
Well, that would clear the Lozenge.
Because there's a fair number of field achieve sable. Her pale azure and argent achieve sable. I believe.
So is this one of those rules where
I think this is a case of send it up and whether you mention it or not is I take no position. There. Someone may well think of it themselves. I didn't say anything that's obviously a conflict when looking at it that way. The one is per pale, azure, and argent, achieve sable. The field's divided the same way, but the tincture of each half has both been changed.
Yeah.
So I think that's good enough. And if I'm wrong, then it's up to somebody to have the same thought and make the call.
All right. So we will send this up because it is certainly above our pay grade.
I find no reason to disagree with that.
Okay, now are we ready to look at item number 22? Name and device for Wolfthryth Mains.
Okay.
I was able to see the recorded spelling of Wolfthryth in Pace.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody have anything else to add about the name, or shall we?
If you found it with the Eds and the Thorn, I think we're good.
I did.
Correct, because we're talking about only 100 years between the two name elements.
Right.
Even
And it's
better.
result number 6 for the spelling with the thorn and the eth. All right, so 22 names and up. 22, the device. Or on a chalice procure a cross of Calatrava ore, and in chief a loaf of bread proper. Yes, the submitter is in fact a Methodist minister.
Oh God.
Those
I was not going to ask about the bread and wine.
Yeah, I didn't want to either.
No law against it.
It's true.
No.
It's I don't think it's piling up too many illusions all at once to make people go harumph in a way that will stick.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I don't think it's presumptuous.
Somebody may fuss, but they will probably be ignored.
She's not submitting the name Jesus.
Before we get done, I have something I need you to check for conflict here.
All right, the winner, Brigida, did you want to got a comment?
The only thing is, when I first glanced at this, it struck me almost like an augmentation, having the Calatrava dead.
Oh, wow. Yeah, you have a point there. But how does Callantyre do their augmentations? I'm Meridian, so I get that.
Is that not a chalice?
It's a chalice.
Yes.
Queen's chalice.
Oh.
Order of the Queen's Chalice has a registered badge.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
I believe it's
The
registered.
registered badge of the Order of the Queen's Chalice.
Is it pure with a cross of Calatrava ore?
I believe so.
Yes.
But is it on an ore field?
If it is,
let me look.
then that is a little bit presumptuous because it looks
No,
like she has that
we're
award.
clear. It's procure a chalice ore charged with a cross of Calatrava procure.
Okay.
Oh,
So
we're
clear.
So it's
I mean, the only reason I bring up the augmentation is because we in Callantyre kind of give a little bit of flexibility.
Yeah.
We don't always do it on an escutcheon or something along those lines.
Well,
We don't have a standard augmentation, though.
even if you did, people can do whatever they want.
True.
True.
Mhm.
And
I can testify to that. Well, I have another item to conflict check before you get away.
On this, against this one?
No, this is totally different.
Okay, I want to finish up this letter
Okay.
before we get into doing the conflict checking.
Well, we could do that after we go offline too.
Yes, I want to do that offline.
While we're not
Off the air.
while we're not YouTubing it.
Right. Okay, so what I'm going to do with this particular device is I'm just going to send it up.
yep.
Sounds good.
All right, so we now have, in fact, worked our way through this letter. Guthrie, I will send you my notes.
Please, yes, thank you.
Did anybody else had something to add about the letter?
Nope.
All right. So I will say that our next decision meeting will be April the 23rd. That is the fourth Monday in April. The next Callantyre internal letter will be published here in a day or two. I've got a handful of items to go on it, including I got one paid submission from Gulf Wars, and I got a handful of unpaid submissions, and they'll just have to wait. All right. Well, then, in that case, I believe we are done with this letter. So I want to thank everybody for their time and for all of the commentary. Giovanni, nothing came through on YouTube comments. Okay, great.
Not that I'm seeing.
Well, in that case, I'm not going to close the Hangout, but I am going to stop broadcasting to YouTube. And so, goodbye, everybody.
Wow.
Bye.